What's up, guys? Nice to see you guys again. Welcome to another episode of
BeawCast.
We're highly caffeinated right now.
Let me know if you want us to make that a permanent intro. That'd be pretty good.
Okay.
BeawCast.
God, please no.
How many bubbas are there?
Like 10?
10.
Yeah.
You didn't really count, you liar.
Yeah, that's it. I just, whatever it takes my fingers,
fine.
like however long. Today we're going to talk about something that you guys have been asking of us, and that's moving out for the first time.
Yeah.
How old were you when you moved out?
I moved out for the first time when do you count military?
On your own.
Like living in, I guess, like in barracks type of thing?
I guess so, because there's some sort of, no, not really. No, not really.
You don't count that?
Not for this particular one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I guess I could talk about that later too, but I guess moving out for the first time, where
Your mom and daddy aren't there?
Yeah, my mom and daddy aren't there.
You said daddy.
Yeah, let's start with the military because
Okay.
it counts because my mom and dad aren't there. So the first time was when
Then wouldn't it be then when you went to military school?
I guess so, huh?
Because they're not there and you were living not at home.
Yeah, I guess I moved. Yeah, I guess So I guess the first time that I moved out was when I was 16.
Damn.
And I went to military school, and you share your room with a bunkmate. So there's a bunk bed, and it's highly structured. There's a lights out, like dun dun dun.
What is that?
Dun, dun,
What do you-
dun, 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 dun.
Is it a song that
It's a
just
song.
plays?
It's like a trumpet song.
But is someone playing the actual trumpet?
Yeah.
Someone plays the actual
Yeah,
trumpet?
yeah. Or
Was
a
this-
bugle or whatever it is. But someone plays it, and then just like the movies, and then so that means lights out. That means we all gotta go to sleep, and then there's someone that comes in and checks up on everyone to make sure they're there and all that.
What time is that usually?
I forgot. I think it was 9.
Okay.
So I was in a very rebellious stage in life. So I didn't really follow the rules, but I think if I really applied myself and follow the rules, it's actually really good structure. Everyone wakes up at like 6:30 or something. You get up, you put on your tie, you brush your teeth, you iron your clothes, and you go eat breakfast, you go to class, and it's like a very regimented lifestyle. And I thought it was kind of cool. Like I thought it was you kind of learn that, hey, I don't need my parents as much as they think I do, because your parents look at you when you're 15 and they think you're a child.
Like he did barely learned how to wipe his ass, and he probably doesn't do it right yet.
Yeah, but when you do that, you're like, oh shit, I could live on my own.
Do you have to make your bed, and are people checking your rooms to make sure it's not like a pigsty?
Oh, it's more than a room. It's gotta be like better than a hotel room. So there's hospital corners that they call. There's a certain way you have to make your bed.
What's a hospital corner?
So at the end of the bed, it has to have like this 45-degree angle, like tucked in. So like how like when you go to the hotel, there's like a way like if they tuck everything in. So it has to look like that, and the sheet can't have a single wrinkle in there. You have
How do you prevent that?
so like you get like boot bands, and you tie the bottom of the sheet underneath the mattress, so it's like an elastic band that pulls it. So there's 0 wrinkles.
Wow, that really prepared you.
Yeah,
How did you forget all that? Because you don't do any of that at home.
I think I could if I want to. It's a choice, which is cool. I love making a choice. And then you have this thing called like you have your these shelves, and you have to put your white shirts, your towels, your shoes, everything has to be placed a certain way. It has to be flush, like it has to be stacked like it's at Target. I have to do all that. All the yawns are going back. It's freaking me out.
Sorry. I'm trying not to open my mouth.
Because you're going like this, but then your eyes open. You're like,
anyway, go.
So you learn how to do all those things. You learn how to polish shoes. So you learn how to be pretty independent, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. You were explaining though the structure, and that's why you like it.
And so I like the structure. And then the hard part, I think, of being by yourself is the food. But then there's like this what they call like a mess hall. So it's like a cafeteria, and there's food. And as long as you make it in within those hours, there's always going to be food. And I think that's cool because it teaches you time management too.
Yeah.
So if dinner is served between like 5:30 and 7:30, and you want to fuck around at the playground and keep playing basketball or homework or
Sorry,
whatever.
buddy, you don't eat.
Yeah, you're just going to be hungry at night.
Yeah.
And there's a couple times I missed, and you learn real quick. You're like, oh shit, I'm making, I don't give a fuck what's happening. I'm making the food times.
Yeah.
When was the first time you moved out?
Damn, you had a lot of structure, and I'm sure you were so well equipped to live on your own. I was 25.
Oh, damn.
20. I was in my 20s,
You
like
old
maybe 23.
fart. Yeah, old fart.
And that's that I was able to convince my parents, because in my household and most traditional Mexican households, the woman cannot leave the house if she's not married, or if she's not, like, if they don't know that she's going to be taken care of by a man. Like first generation, like that just doesn't happen. And that was so true for my family. Like my sister couldn't move out until she got married, which she did, and then she moved out. My brother could do the same. He couldn't leave until he was married and had his house. And then
Even the dude.
Even the dude.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, it took a lot of saving and convincing, and like, because I'm just like, I don't want to leave here because I'm married.
How long have you been wanting to move out?
Oh my God, since I was like 15.
And did you start pitching that to them then? Like
No,
15?
because I didn't have a good relationship with my dad, so I wasn't talking to him in high school. I didn't fix my relationship with him until I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So, and my mom is someone she likes, I mean, I don't know if she likes it, but she just grew up in like a lot of patriarchal structure. So that's all she knows.
Yeah.
So for her, it gives her more confidence knowing that she has the support of her husband or like a male figure.
Yeah.
So she feels more confident and she feels like she's safe.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I'm like, I'm okay. I don't need a dude,
Yeah.
you know? And because I grew up so sheltered, I didn't like me walking out, because I grew up in a fucking ghetto of East LA. Me walking outside of my gate, like the gate in my yard, was terrifying.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, holy shit, I'm gonna die. Like,
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I was raised, with a lot of fear. So it wasn't until like in my 20s
Did
when
you
I
hear
started,
gunshots growing up?
every fucking day, pretty much.
Oh, damn.
All the time. Like our house got shot up a few times. Like my mom was out there gardening and like a bullet missed her fucking head by inches.
Damn.
Like it's crazy. Like there was always drive-bys. There was like the cops would constantly harass my dad and my brother because they fit the profile, you know? Like it was bad. It was bad. So yeah, that's just the environment that I grew up in. So it wasn't until and because I was so sheltered, but I'm such a curious person. Curious? How come I can't say that?
Curious, yeah.
Curious, right? Okay. Person. And I just wanted to fly and just like leave so bad and explore, that when I was finally able to get a job, like I purposely would get a job that was like outside of my city, like far away, so that I can explore different areas of LA.
Why not further? Why not like San Diego or San Francisco?
Oh, I'm not allowed to do that. Where am I supposed to stay? Am I supposed to drive? Like, because I have to be back home.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about when you already moved out already.
No, I'm just trying to like paint a picture of
see,
like
yeah,
how
yeah.
extreme it was for me to move.
Yeah, I see.
Like it was groundbreaking.
So I remember you were working at a bank in K-Town. Mm-hmm. Were you living at home at that time?
Yeah.
So
I was still at home.
So you're like, what's the furthest I can work while still living at home?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah. So I didn't understand. I didn't know much of downtown LA. Like I didn't even know that it was segregated like that, with so many different like
Towns.
Yeah,
like
towns.
J-Town, K-Town.
Yeah. So then like I was trying to work more in the 626 area, like El Tadena or like Pasadena, but like for some reason, so when I applied for Bank of America, they kind of just tell you if there's an opening, where are the areas that you would want to if we send you there.
Yeah.
So then for me, I'm like, okay, these are cool. So there was just an opening in K-Town. So I'm like, let's go.
That's when you were going from part-time to full-time?
Yeah.
So when you're going part-time to full-time, they're like, all right, so if you want to be full-time, this is where we need a person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So then.
How did that feel, being able to at least drive to another part of town and kind of explore?
That was dope, because it was just like, cool. I'm like an adult. Like I have to make money and then I have lunch breaks, and my lunch break is out here and I'm not back home. And then I get to come home, like, you know, when work ends, like at 5 or 6 or whatever. So it was really cool. Like I didn't care that I had to drive. Like it took me an hour to get there, because, you know, the LA traffic is horrible.
Yeah.
And especially rush hour, it's bad both directions. But I'm like, I don't care. This is so dope. So I had already saved enough. I had saved a pretty good amount of money. by the time I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. So I already had my car that I had bought. Shout outs to financial aid at that time. Cause I think I got like $2 or $3 grand. And then that went straight to my car. Like I got my books and then paid whatever tuition and I had money left over. So I'm like, I need a car. So I bought my first car. And then I was making enough money to, like, I was doing my finances and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need. I have to pay this much for insurance. So I did my budgeting. I'm like, I have this much for insurance. I can spend this amount on food. I can only afford this amount for rent. And at that time, like health insurance or whatever wasn't required. So that helped because I get an additional couple $100. So then when I did my finances, I'm like, okay, this is the cost of living that I need to spend every single month. And then I looked at everything and I'm like, oh shit, I think I can do it. And I remember the popular thing at that time was looking for rooms on Craigslist and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am not about to go through Craigslist. Like, remember, I live in fear because I can't even leave my yard.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's no way, like, I'm going to go to the Walmart version of, like, finding a place to sleep.
Yeah.
And I knew that the only
especially when you're trying to look for quality roommates.
Yeah. And I remember very quickly, I found out how much it costs to live in LA. Because I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll just get a studio. Because I remember in college, I had a study buddy that her place, she spent like maybe $500, but she lived like in Burbank or Studio City or something like that. And it was a studio. And I'm like, holy shit, this is expensive. And then I wanted to live out in K-Town because I'm like, at least that time it looked a little bit more ghetto. So I'm like, okay, it shouldn't be that expensive. And for like a studio, it was like $2,500.
What?
And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay, I guess I can't afford living on my own. So I'm going to look for roommates. So I didn't go to Craigslist. I actually went to like roommates.com or something where I had to pay money.
Yeah.
Because I just figured like only people that can afford to spend this, because it's a luxury.
Yeah.
I felt like it's just a different type of person that would sign up for something like this.
That's how I feel about dating apps too. Like I've never been on a dating app, but I just feel like whatever dating apps are free, I feel like you're not going to be able to, I guess, qualify the people versus like if you're able to pay for a certain dating app and you're looking for a certain type of someone, the quality of candidates that you go on dates are probably better.
Yeah, it's a different pool of people.
Yeah.
So then, so I just felt more comfortable paying for service because I thought it'd filter out a lot of just creature-like people.
Yeah.
So I went to roommates.com and then I saw like a few listings that I liked, one of them being in Alhambra.
Yeah.
And then it was like the perfect storm for me because it was like the first place that I found. It was like this girl and she was looking for only female roommates. The place was in Alhambra. Her parents had just bought another house in Riverside. She was a biochemist working in, I forgot where she worked at. And she needed female roommates and she was my age. So then I remember she like interviewed me and we met at a Starbucks and I'm like, oh my God, this all feels really good.
That's tight.
Yeah. Cause it just didn't feel creepy.
Yeah.
And so like she interviewed me and it was and like I get to interview her. Right. And, yeah, it seemed really cool. And she was like, what, do you want to see the house? Cause I guess I passed, that initial part and I wasn't a weirdo.
Yeah.
And then I saw the house and it was so cute. Like it was like,
a cute house.
Yeah, it was like remodeled and like it looked very clean. And yeah, I was like, hell yeah, like I'll move in. And I didn't even know, like no one had taught me any of this shit. And I just figured this is what was the right thing to do. And it felt right.
Was it hard for you at any point, like making food or doing laundry or?
I'm not even there yet. But like, so what helped me was that I'm moving in with other girls my age.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like $500 and I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
So then I got my parents' blessing. Hell yeah.
How hard was that to pitch that to them too?
So my mom was like, don't do it. Don't talk to your dad. Like he's going to disown you. It's really bad.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay. I'm like, but I still have to find out for my own.
Yeah.
Good. I still have to do it.
Yeah.
So I talked to him and that was the first time that I actually talked to him in like several years.
Yeah.
And I ended up apologizing for whatever it was that he was angry at me about. And I was angry at him about. And then like he gave me his blessing to move out.
He was just cool with it?
Well, he was like, of course, I don't want you to do it. But he's like, if you feel you need to do this, he's like, go for it. And if you can't afford it and you fail, he's like, you can come back.
Oh, that's so
It was the
puny.
complete opposite of what my mom said.
Did you ever bring that up with your mom?
Nah, I don't want her to
why
feel
the
bad.
Fuck, are you fucking giving me this bullshit
Because
answers?
I understand my mom's trauma, and
Yeah.
she's never trying to ruffle anyone's feathers. So she was just like, let's just keep the peace. I don't know. She always assumes the worst.
That's so funny.
she's scared.
Don't talk to him.
Yeah, so he actually helped me move out. Like he carried the mattress in for me and stuff.
that's
It
so
was really
cutie.
cool. It was a really
That's
cool experience.
awesome.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. Teaching you guys a lesson. Don't ever buy other people's words. Like just talk directly to the person.
Yeah.
All right. Don't go around it and fill in the fucking blanks. Like just talk directly to the person and understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Because if I would have listened to my mom, I would have stayed home.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't be here right now.
That's why I never listen to the news about like any of those crisis or war stories. I have all my special ops friends. I go, let me just talk to them and get the real information because they're actually there, boots on the ground.
I'm not sure I'm like talking about that, but yeah, if that works for you, good for you.
Yeah, it works really good for me.
Yeah, I guess just in general interactions that helps the best. So it was like my first time living there, and usually I'm like living at home. At least I was like I would leave my clothes everywhere, and I wasn't like the neatest person. But now I had my own thing, and I was proud of like my room, and I just had a room.
Yeah.
And that shit was like spick and span. It was
That's
so
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I realized I didn't own shit. Like I didn't own anything because I lived with my mom and everything I had like
So you didn't move any of the furniture from your house to that house?
no, because parent furniture, like they buy like the heavy legit shit.
And it's ugly as fuck.
And it looks old.
The most high quality old shit. Yeah.
So then I was just like, and nothing's gonna fit in a small room.
Yeah.
So like I bought IKEA stuff and I couldn't even
IKEA it is.
IKEA always coming through.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford much. Like I think they had a bed frame for me, just that metal frame.
Yeah.
They had that, but I brought in my own mattress.
The hardest mattress in the world.
I didn't know that's how I grew up. My parents had that.
Yeah.
And then I bought my own, I literally had nothing. I had no pens. I had no spices. I didn't have a TV. I didn't even have a computer. I'm like,
yeah,
holy
right.
fuck, I don't have anything. And I like,
'Cause when you wanted to watch TV, you just watched the one in the living room, right? Like the family TV.
yeah, but that's when I realized, like I got lucky that was even available to me.
Yeah.
Because if the only thing I can afford was a room, it could have been one of those where the communal areas don't even have a TV.
Oh,
But
I
I was
see.
fortunate enough that this house
They were
was
willing to share.
was equipped with it. Yeah, and they opened it up to us.
Yeah.
So I had living room furniture because it was all hers. The TV, like a refrigerator, washer and dryer, like those are things you take for granted because when you're growing up, it's there in the house. I mean, for some of us. But yeah, and then like cooking, I had no idea, and since I didn't know them, like it wasn't like a household gets together and we all like potluck it. I was like eating out a lot. I was eating out a lot and then just bringing it back to my room.
You never cooked that much?
In the beginning, I didn't because I didn't know them. Oh. But then the more like we would make small talk and then we got along really, really well.
Yeah.
And then we would just do they would go to Costco and then just buy stuff for the whole house. And then we would just like pay for our portion of it or whatever. So it really worked out for me.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I had different skills because my mom grew up very patriarchal in that environment. And a woman is supposed to clean, cook, blah, 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 blah. I didn't get the cooking part, but the cleaning and doing your laundry and just all those things, I was taught. Like how to clean, how to do laundry, how to do my bed, all of that. She taught me with that. So I didn't struggle much there.
That's cool.
Yeah. But it was really eye-opening to be like, oh, fuck. I have to buy literally everything. Toilet paper, shampoo, like all of this stuff was just at my house. Like I was fortunate enough that my parents didn't make me pay for anything at home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I took all that for granted. Like towels, like I never even thought I had to get a towel.
That's true. You know what's one thing that's really cool? Is it time for our first sponsor?
You didn't do it yet?
No, I think we're just in such great conversation.
Yeah, I was living in it. I was like, I was back in the past and visualizing all of it. But yeah, let's talk about our first sponsor.
Well, our first sponsor is Skillshare. As you guys know, that we freaking love this.
I love it.
It's an online learning community with thousands of classes for the creator and all of us. And there's photography, creative writing, design, productivity, marketing, all the things that you need to be good on social media or to start a business or to improve your resume or to be better at any job that you want. There's just tons of classes that you can take to increase your skill set. And if you sign up right now, Skillshare.com/Beaw, BEAW, you get 2 whole months of unlimited access to thousands of classes for free. That's Skillshare.com/Beaw, BEAW to sign up, Skillshare.com/Beaw, and get smarter today.
Yeah, get smarter, learn about photography, learn about marketing, learn about creative writing. And like what's really cool, there's these big like categories, right, that you can learn from. So for example, photography, right? You click on it, there's a subcategory where now it's like, is it photo for IG? Is it photo for weddings? Is it photo portraits? Is it black and white? Do you want to do film developing? Like there's so many different classes at your fingertips for 2 months for free. Like don't sleep on it, you guys.
Yeah. I think in some ways you're really lucky. In some ways, you didn't get to experience what I got to experience. So when my military life moving out, I think it's very similar to what people would call dorm life. You know, when a lot of people, they go to college for the first time and you get to live in a dorm and there's just entire buildings of people the same age. And, but I just did that at a way younger age and way more regimented, you know, and it's not co-ed. It's a little bit different, but one of the pains, and you guys are going to relate to me on this if you guys have lived dorm life, that fucking sucks, is there's these laundry rooms you have to share. So everyone's doing laundry like once a week or whatever, right? You go in there and then like no one waits around for laundry. So you throw the laundry and you're like, oh, I'm going to come back for 45 minutes, and you go hang out or whatever. And then you end up coming back like maybe an hour later, and you come back and all your clothes are on the floor. Like the next person take all your clothes.
It's a big fuck you.
Either out of the washer, threw it on the floor, or out of the dryer on the floor. And that happened at my military school. And that also happened.
Did it happen to you?
It happened to me.
I'm glad it happened to you because you should have waited.
No one waits. And it also happened to me at my apartment at UCLA. And it happens so much. People's laundry gets jacked. Sometimes like bits and pieces of your laundry are missing. And then sometimes like your laundry smells because the last person smells so bad that they stunk up the washer. So now that infects your laundry.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's like but that's like a really cool experience to like be responsible and timely with your laundry, which I think is kind of cool. But there's that dorm life. But I think like the first time that I actually moved out was when I was, I think 19? I was maybe like 20.
Oh.
And I moved out with my buddy Richard. And that was kind of cool because like, actually, damn, the way I moved out is so different. So the first time was military school. Then I moved out for community college because I think me and my dad just weren't getting along. I didn't have a good relationship with them. So me and him would get in like the craziest fights. And you know when I get mad, like I get so exhausted. So it was just really holding me back from my studies. So I finally moved out with Richard. And I think what was cool was because I moved out twice already. So by the time I moved out for UCLA and I lived in the apartments there, I was so prepared and ready to move out that I was able to really focus on my studies. So I think I never got the homesickness. I knew when to do laundry. I knew how to make food, how to make cheap food. Like one of my favorite college foods is make rice, buy a can of chili for 50 cents, throw it on there, and then fry an egg and throw it on there and pop the yolk. And that was bomb.
Oh, damn.
And then so like I think in college, what's cool about college life is everyone gets to share tips because no one has money.
Yeah.
So everyone gets to share tips on like what to eat, what to buy, what to make, and the way to do everything the cheapest.
Yeah.
And because I have already lived all that, like I usually made my bed in my room in college, and like everything was like pretty streamlined for me.
Yeah. No, it looked like it. It looked like you had your life on lock.
Yeah, like I just knew how to do it already because I already moved out twice.
Yeah, I really like that about you. I like how self-sufficient you were. Because like the trope is that guys aren't given the same skills. This is old school thinking, by the way. I'm 36, so I kind of lived the old school thinking. But the trope used to be that guys didn't know how to live on their own without a woman. You know, like their laundry was going to be fucked up. Their house was going to be fucked up and dirty. Their meals are going to be all fucked up, and they're probably just eating fast food because they didn't know how to cook for themselves.
There's a lot of dudes that are like that I knew that, like, especially at UCLA being so local.
Yeah.
I knew people that would take their laundry home on the weekend so their mom could still do it.
Yeah.
Like they were moved out, but still not, like they would go home with laundry.
Yeah.
Their parents did their laundry, and then they would come back with Tupperwares full of food and stock the fridge for the week.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, besides physically living somewhere else, I don't think you really moved out.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing anything on your own.
Yeah. And I think that's really important to like be able to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So I really was attracted to that about you.
Oh.
Yeah, I really like, and it made me feel safe. It made me feel safer because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I had just moved out. Like maybe I was living on my own for like maybe almost 2 years at that point. That you were just such a pro at it that I was like, all right, cool. Like I can learn from him because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like I was barely getting the hang of it.
You look like you knew what you're doing. I remember when I visited your room in the Alhambra house, I'm like, oh, cool. You have like pictures of your nephews and nieces up. Like you really made it your own. You know, it didn't feel like, oh, I'm just temporarily living in this room for now. It's like when you walk in through that door, it's like, oh, the world to Gio.
Oh, that's cutie. Well, yeah, I mean, I never got homesick because I was just so tired. I was sick of home.
Yeah.
So I never got homesick. But yeah, no, I was so happy to be living on my own. I really was. I loved it. Like, I just lived so isolated that I needed a change. You know, like for my personality type, I just had to be independent. Like I only want to be independent and on my own. So, that really helped me mentally so much.
Yeah, I think I needed it too because my parents are so overbearing and controlling that I think even up until high school, like they were picking out my clothes, especially like in junior high. It was optional to wear school uniforms, and my dad was like, "Nope, we're buying you school uniforms." I'm like, "I'm gonna be the only loser wearing school uniforms," and I was.
Oh, that sucks.
So I'm like, man,
I didn't have
this
it that
sucks.
bad.
So like, yeah, I didn't feel like I could breathe my whole life.
Same.
So even in high school, I barely felt like I could breathe, and I think that's why I even got into raving, because finally I lived with my dad, and my dad was like, "I'm gonna let this dude at least be who he wants to be." So I think the minute he cracked the window, I fucking flew out of there. I was selling drugs in Arizona. I was, waking up at other people's houses. Like it was just, I'm like, I'm out of this motherfucker, to the point where my dad's like, if you're not going to come home tonight, can you just call me and let me know?
Oh man, you're lucky. I didn't even get a taste
So I
of
would
that.
just let him know, I'm like, hey dad, I'm not going to come home today. And I won't be home for like a whole week.
Oh my God. No,
Yeah.
I never did that. But I think something that really, really helped me was knowing that I left my house peacefully. Because I think it would have, on good terms. Because I think it would have been hard on me to be like, fuck, I don't have the support of my parents, whom I look up to.
Yeah.
And then if I fail, I'm gonna be living in my car. So I never felt like I didn't have a safety net. You know, like I never wanted to rely on it, and I didn't really focus on that. But I think in my heart, I felt like I'm never gonna be left on the streets. You know?
That's awesome.
Because when I moved out, all I had was I didn't have very many friends, because I think I had made such an extreme life change from how I was in high school, like failing and getting into drugs and stuff. And then in college, it was just work full time, go to school full time, just try to get your degree and work. That I didn't really focus on friendships.
Yeah.
And all I had was just my boyfriend at that time. And then we ended up breaking up like maybe a couple months into me living on my own. So I felt completely alone. So just knowing, and if I would have, so feeling alone and then knowing that I wasn't good with my parents, it would have destroyed me. I think I would have been in a bad place. So that really helped me. And then what also helped me was that I just didn't go on a whim and be like, I'm moving out. Like I really did plan out my finances, and I made sure that I lived within my means and even less than my means.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I was just scared of like not making it, you know? Like I was scared of having to go back home. I didn't want to have to go back home. I didn't want to be that person. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but for me and my personality type, I just never wanted to digress.
One of the things I'm so grateful of the internet is that you're able to Google a lot of questions, and there's good answers out there. So I remember even when JK was first about to get its own office space, I was like, relative to how much money a company makes, how much should the company be paying towards rent? You know, and even Google back then wouldn't give you those type of answers. But then when it was time for us to buy our house, like I would Google that, and it's like, it's so clear. Like everyone recommends this statistically, if your rent/mortgage is 30% of your total income, you're pretty much in the safe zone. And people haven't seen, it's like 10% that you'll become bankrupt from this situation. So like people that are like let's say if you make $1,500, if your rent or mortgage is under 500, you're pretty much in the safe zone. That's something that you can afford. And I'm so glad that there's like this type of resources out there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that I knew was paying half.
Yeah.
And that's danger zone. Like if you're making 1,500, you shouldn't be spending $750 on your place of rent.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's some great advice. And yeah, definitely Google that.
You can Google almost anything now, which is awesome.
Yeah. But I think the most important step for everyone listening is just looking at how much I'm making versus how much money I need to be spending just to live.
Yeah.
You know, and then in doing this budget, so you want to look at rent, you want to look at how much money you have to eat, insurance. Now you need car insurance and you need health insurance. That's already like could be $400 for both. Like,
and then there's all the stuff that you don't think about, like toilet paper, soap,
yes, emergencies,
shampoo, detergent.
My dad would always tell me that. He's like, there's always going to be emergency, have a savings, always. And like, you're young and you're like, whatever. He's like, when you least expect it, your car's going to break down. When you least expect it, a tire's going to pop. Because, I mean, your car is like the biggest thing you own at that time, you know?
Yeah.
When you least expect it, your computer's going to break down. Or like there's these unexpected big expenses that happen that you're just not prepared for.
Yeah.
So he was always like, please, please, please put 10% away. I don't know what the percentage is now, but put 10% away for your savings because you never know what's going to happen. Our sponsor is brought to you by Noom, and I am absolutely in love with this app and just the service because a lot of us want to be better versions of ourselves, but it's really hard for us to start. We just don't have the right resources, or we don't even know where to begin or who to talk to. So Noom is an awesome way to build healthier habits, to lose weight, but not for the sake of losing weight, but for the sake of being healthy, feeling good about yourself. And it does this in a way that it helps you change what you're doing on a day-to-day, because we've all done different diets. We've done crash diets, we've done fad diets, and we've all failed at one point. And it's not because the diet wasn't good. I mean, sometimes it is. But it's because we just had the bad technique. We didn't have the right support system. Again, we don't have the right resources. So Noom is really cool because they use a different approach. They use a psychological approach. And they help you build these healthy habits. They don't just leave you alone. There's constant check-ins. There's a bunch of lessons here. It's super flexible. There's food logging. Like everything that you need is at your fingertips with Noom, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, you guys, like I said, it's based on psychology. Noom teaches you why you do the things that you do. It and empowers you with the tools you need to break all those bad habits and replace them with good ones. So for you guys listening right now, sign up. It's a really small step for a really big change, especially because we're almost at the end of the year. So there's no point in closing out the year weak. Let's close out 2019 in a strong way. So if you sign up for your trial today, trust me, it's going to be the best decision of your life. That is Noom.com/BEAW. What do you have to lose? Nothing. What do you have to gain? Everything. So go to Noom.com/bear. That's visit Noom.com/BEAW for bear and start your trial today.
I was so fortunate to have like parents that really cared about me and like my whole transition. I was really fortunate I think I was able to have a slow transition. Because I remember when I first moved out for community college, like, yes, I'm physically out of my parents' place of living and I'm living on my own. I'm like doing my own laundry. I'm making my food. I'm doing my own time management. But like, let's say my laptop would tank on me. My dad still told me, this is what he told me. He was like, while you're in school, anything that you need for school, I still got you.
Damn.
And I'm like, that was so cool because my laptop would tank. And so he'll buy me a new laptop. And anything that was just like a random, I had to spend $1,000 or randomly spend $2,000 for something, he would still get me. So I was able to slowly transition for me to be able to get on my feet.
Yeah.
Versus a lot of parents are either like, it's all in or all out, you know?
Yeah.
And so that was cool of my dad to do that.
Hell yeah, that's fucking cool. Because then you didn't even have to pay rent, right? Because your mom bought the house that you got to move out.
Oh, I paid rent.
Oh, you did.
So that was one thing that was really cool. So when
Well, how did you get money to pay rent?
GI Bill, baby.
Oh.
So when I was moving out, when I was in the military, I was getting paid, I think like anywhere between $500 to $800, depending on my rank. And so my mom knew that me and my dad weren't getting along. And this is right when I fucked up in school my whole life. I went through so many different schools.
Yeah.
And then so I got out of the Marine Corps, and I'm like, cool, I'm ready to like finally approach life, give life a second chance. I want to do good, So I went to community college, signed up for my classes. And then the first couple months moving back in with my dad, were just beefing, fighting all the time. And I'm like, man, there's no way I could study under this type of environment. My mom, who also lived with my dad, knows how hard-headed he can be. So I was talking to both parents. I really wanted to move out. And my parents both supported me. My dad's like, fine. Like, if you want to go move out, go ahead. My mom, being like the Taiwanese, like, I got to like be smart with the finances. She never believed in renting. Because for her, she's like, why would you throw money down the drain? So she came up with the crazy idea. She was like, what if I bought a house and you pay me the rent that you were going to pay anyways, and then whoever you're going to get to move out with you, he pays me the rent too, and that'll cover like the mortgage. And
that's smart.
This will be like a little investment. So like my mom's like very traditional Taiwanese, where everything like has to make sense, So I'm like, all right, cool. So she bought like this cheap little house, and then she started like remodeling it and doing all these things.
Yeah.
So I paid I think like $600 a month or something like that, and then my buddy Richard also paid $600 a month because he also has the GI Bill. So that was pretty much like half the mortgage, and then so I would pay that to my mom like every single month, and it was, I guess, like I didn't have any other job, but like the military was my part-time job for the time, and then that was pretty cool.
That is really cool. Yeah, you're also really lucky that you had that support, because I, like, literally everything I ever got was because I earned it. Like, my parents never got me a car. Not to say anything bad about my parents. I mean, like, I never knew about their financial struggles. Like, but they weren't rich, Like, we weren't rich. Like, God, like, my house was getting shot up at least every weekend.
Yeah.
Like, my neighbors were getting drunk and fucking shooting in the sky and like rumbling in the front yard. I live next to an apartment complex, So like, we weren't rich by any means.
Yeah.
But I guess I really liked that because I earned everything that I ever got. So like, my first car, I bought it. Moving out, I paid for all of that. My college, I paid for all of that. So I never, like, it was scary for me because I'm like, fuck, it's all on me.
Yeah. But you're completely self-made, which I think is super cool.
Thanks. Oh shit, I never thought about it like that. I am.
Because I don't think I could say I'm completely self-made.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a lot of help. Like my dad, when I went to college, he saved up, I think, like 30 something grand, and he gave me the full account. And he goes, this is for your senior year. Spend it all, go Vegas, spend it all if you want, but this is all the money I have, and this is all I owe you for the rest of your life. And so I had to manage that with the rent. I managed that with buying my books and all that stuff. And that was like the last 2 years of my school. And then when we first started JK, finally, the house that me and my buddy Richard lived in, at that time, there wasn't like the three units. But when JK started, there was actually 3 units. So now my mom has income. So when we finally moved back in, my mom was able to go, oh yeah, you don't have to pay rent.
Yeah.
And then that was a huge boost in JK. Like, to start a production company without having to pay rent for the first couple of years is huge.
That is huge.
So I don't even know if I could say I'm self-made. I could say, like, I think my parents helped out a lot. They really like gave me the building blocks for everything to flourish.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I wonder how I would have turned out if I had that type of support.
You might have been freaking even doper.
Maybe, or I could have been like super codependent on shit and like not know how to survive.
Maybe. Who knows?
Right? Isn't that crazy to think like that? But yeah, for me, knowing that I had a plan set in place really gave me security, instead of me just kind of going like, well, I think this is okay. And I think this is okay. Like, thinking like 6 months to a year and like planning that out really, really like helped me. And then moving in with with roommates actually helped me too.
So it's a good transition, huh?
Yeah, because it wasn't like a complete shock of like, now I'm completely alone. I'm isolated. I have no one to talk to. Like, I'm completely fucked.
Yeah.
Like, it felt really good having roommates, and for me, having all female roommates, because then I just felt safe.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have to worry about getting raped or any of that happening. And then when I was looking for these roommates, I found people that like were like me.
Yeah.
They were career driven. They were very dependent, like independent. And they weren't about partying. They weren't about like bringing a lot of different people over, like, and trying to party all the time. Like I just found people that were like me.
Yeah, I remember your landlord would like sleep at 9. I'm like, she sleeps earlier than I do.
Yeah, because she had to wake up at 4 to leave the house by 5 to be at work by like 8 or something. She like drove really far or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think she worked all the way in Irvine or something like that.
Yes, she did. And we lived in Alhambra. So yeah, so that really, really helped me. Like I even picked a neighborhood that was safe for me, because again, I grew up with a lot of fear and like in the fucking hood, that I'm like, I want the complete opposite of what I was raised in.
Yeah.
So I paid attention to that. I paid attention to the house too. Like I wanted the energy of the house to feel really good. Like I didn't want it to feel sketchy. I didn't want it to feel unsafe in any sort of way. So I was really particular about that. And that's when I feel like I got really lucky, because I didn't have to hunt so much.
Yeah.
And it could have been because I had that subscription that I paid for, that it like filtered out all that stuff. So I only had like quality people. I don't know. Or maybe it was like it was part of my plan or something. I don't know. It's probably
You actually did really good, come to think of it. Because I'm thinking about my life compared to yours. And I think my life was, I've been prepped my whole life to live on my own. So growing up, you know how my parents are divorced. So in order for my mom to be able to pay for the mortgage, we had random roommates all the time.
Yeah.
And we didn't have Craigslist back then. So the thing that me and my mom would do all the time is go to the Chinese market and make flyers. You know, the kind where you could like peel the number. So I've been doing that with my mom since I was like 6 years old, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've seen how my mom interviewed people. I've seen random strangers in my house. I see what she looks for. And things would break down because you have so much use of all the appliances, dishwashers, washer and dryer. Because now your house is more like commercial use and it's not really residential use.
Yeah.
So since I was a kid, I understood how washers work, how dryers work. I went with my mom to get things repaired. We bought new things. I see how fridges work. So I'm constantly like I understood that AC ran on Freon. Like I just knew all these things as a kid already. So when it came time to move out, I was already, I think, like way more prepared than most of my friends. And then when it came to my mom wanting to rent out the other units at that house that we lived in, it became like second nature to be able to do rentals and stuff, because I just grew up in that whole environment of getting new roommates, fixing washers and dryers and all that stuff. But I did that with all that preparation. And like for you to move out with no one really guiding you, because it's not like your sister or your older brother had any advice to give you, just figuring out, like, you did really good.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just knew I wanted to feel safe, and I always like, in life, I always want to level up. I never want to move backwards in any sort of aspect of my life, even something as small as like a car.
Yeah. So the second kid has to be way better than Taika then.
I don't know if that's leveling up. I don't know if I can level up another human. But when it came to things that were in my control,
He has to be born with like 3 eyes.
like I just always figured like, okay, this is where my parents got. I need to do better than that. Not in a competitive way, but in a way of like, damn, like they came here with this. This is where they came from. They leveled up.
Yeah.
And now it's my turn to level up, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks. Yeah. I don't know. I just always felt like I wanted to just be better. I don't know. And feel safe. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely didn't have any guidance because my brother and my sister didn't know. They never lived on their own.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever lived on their own.
Even your sister, till this day? She lives on her
Well,
own
now she lives on her own, but not really because she has kids. So she's never lived alone. Yeah. I think I'm the only one that's ever lived alone out of all of us. Yeah. Well, there's 4 kids.
I think
total,
living
but
alone is such a good thing because you learn so much about
loved
yourself.
it. Yeah, I loved it.
I think like a couple of the things that I didn't get a chance to do that I think are imperative are living alone.
You didn't live alone?
I mean, I did live alone, but like, there's a couple other things that I regret not doing. The other one is studying abroad. Because like that's the most controlled environment where you get to live in another country for a few months.
Yeah.
because you're
with other people that are your age and just as lost.
And and doing the same things, and then like, and really being able to, because when you travel, you're there for like a week, or 2 weeks, like you're not really immersed. So being able to study abroad, stay there a semester, I think that's something that's like super cool that everyone should do if they can do it.
Yeah.
And there's and then the other thing is having a part-time job.
You never had a part-time job?
I kind of did, but like, I don't know if the military. Yeah, but like, I think, but that's like, I mean, there's time.
It's a different feeling.
There's time management there. And it's also a different feeling where like, it's not a weekly time management thing that I had to do. It was a monthly time management thing.
Oh yeah, you didn't have it.
So like every month I had to like figure out how to like, it's extreme, It's like, it's almost as if I was jobless and then the hardest job of my life for 4 days straight. And then I was jobless versus I think like, seeing people be able to go like, oh, I got to work at Subway and then I got to go to class and then I got to go do whatever. Being able to balance all those things, I think, would have been really cool. I did it a little bit. I had like, I wouldn't even call them jobs. They're more like projects. Remember I used to sell sex toys and textbooks?
Oh, right. Yeah, not the same.
So they're like...
Because it's a different feeling about having to clock in.
Yeah.
Like, it's just different.
And doing it for like a year straight.
It's different.
Yeah.
I only had one part-time job. No, 2 part-time jobs. Yeah, I didn't work very much. I only worked at a bookstore part-time.
Yeah.
And then after that, I worked at a bank as a teller for a part-time. And then when I graduated, then I started moving up and becoming more full-time.
Yeah.
That was it for me.
Well, actually, I did work a little bit more. I worked at the mortgage company.
Oh, right.
But I think like more long-term and structure and building like a team. I think like that would, like if I worked at Starbucks or something and I was there for like a whole year, I think that would have been like everything I did was like in stints. So I think like being able to, like, let's say, at Bank of America, you worked there long enough to where like, I'm actually going to go full time here.
Yeah.
I think, and building that team and understanding how everything works, I think that would have been pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I wanted to do more of. I wish I had lived in like a dorm type thing.
And I think it makes you appreciate money more.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Bart does that to me a lot where he's still in his own head thinking his thoughts. And then I say something and then he continues his thought. He does that to me so much that I'm like, and usually it's stuff that it doesn't matter. Like I don't even need to repeat it again, but I'm getting used to it. I've gotten used to it. All right. I'm used to it. But yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of myself. Yeah. I think I've just been really lucky. I honestly feel like I've been really lucky because I mean, I don't have like the moving out thing, right? Like it just worked out so perfectly that I'm like, fuck, I'm fucking lucky. Like a lot of this stuff, I feel like I'm lucky. Like meeting you and then doing JK, like I feel like that's luck. Like I didn't do anything to deserve it,
I mean, some parts are luck. Like you're lucky you moved into a house where there's no hidden cameras and they sell like leaked pussy footage online. So I guess that's pretty lucky because that's like the other extreme of what could have happened.
Yeah.
You move into a creeper's house. But I think like with JK, that wasn't luck. Like you earned every bit of it. Like me and Joe were doing JK and we were going to do this meet and greet event.
Or I guess meeting you. That's like lucky. I don't know.
No, but I was
I
in
just
the
feel
friend
like
circle. Like,
fine.
I don't think so.
Fine. I just feel like I've been very blessed. Like something out in this universe has my back. All right, so our next sponsor is brought to you by Best Fiends. I'm absolutely in love with this game. It's a phone game, and I catch myself using it all the time. I just recently went to Florida, and I traveled out there by myself for a week, and it was the best not having to rely on an internet connection or service to continue playing Best Fiends. You can play it while on the airplane still. The graphics are super cool. Each and new level is just as challenging, if not more than the other. This game is constantly being developed. There's brand new puzzles and challenges, and it never gets boring. I'm on level... I think I'm on level 34 now, and I love playing it when I just want to just relax and unwind and just have fun. Like, how many of us have fun anymore? Like we feel like having fun means working on your computer and answering that email and going on Instagram, and that's not really that fun when you really think about it. So make sure to keep the fun alive and download Best Fiends. It's free at the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's Best Fiends. Think of like best friends without the R. That's Best Fiends. So yeah, make sure to download that and play it. It's family friendly. You're not going to regret it.
As I grow older and as my life gets better, I start to understand why rappers always thank God when they win Grammys and stuff.
Why?
Because I feel the same way. You know,
Oh.
I think the older you become, the more you understand humanity,
Yeah.
and you understand that there's billions of people in this world.
Yeah.
And then so you're like, okay, if there's like starving people, why me?
Yeah,
Why do I
yeah.
get a dope life, dope house, dope whatever?
Yeah.
And then so as you get higher and higher, and you win like a Grammy, and like let's say you're a fucking rapper that makes like 20 million a year, you're like, thank God, because I don't know why they chose me, because all
Right.
the other people I grew up in the hood
They're
are
dope
either
as fuck.
they're either in jail or locked up, and,
Or
like why do I get a mansion?
Yeah. I feel the exact same way.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm like, why me? You know, why not my sister? She's just as smart. Like, why didn't this
but I
happen
also
to
think
her?
that everyone else, including you, have some responsibility to take, that you guys made those choices.
True.
You know, like when the other people were out shooting and selling drugs, you were the one in the studio.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I wasn't. I was the one that was on house arrest.
no, but like for you, like working with JK, you had a full-time job, right? And then so when I first moved in with you, you would see me messing around with like my JK stuff, and then like a lot of girlfriends would just be like, oh, that's my boyfriend's thing. That's cool. I'll support from the sidelines. But I'm like, hey, and you're like, oh, I can help you with that graphic design stuff. So it's like you proved yourself at one task, and then I'm like, oh, cool, Mobber is really useful actually. And then you would prove yourself at something else, at something else, something else. So like, it was the decisions that you made, and also you like owning up and killing it every single step of the way. You know?
Oh, thank you. I thought I was just having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've just been very fortunate.
I mean, some people's good times ends up like, I'm sure if you ask Shaun White, who is like the youngest snowboarder to ever win a gold medal in the Olympics, and you ask him like, so what do you think made you successful? He'd probably say, I was just snowboarding, you know?
Yeah, true.
But I think some people's decisions, I think people don't think about the consequences of their decisions enough.
Yeah.
And it's his, whatever it was that made him make those decisions, they were the right decisions to put him in a successful path.
Yeah.
Versus his friend is probably also meth, but they're not thinking about, oh wait, meth leads me to jail.
Yeah, I think I'm really lucky that again, I'm lucky that I had parents that, although there's that generational gap, and they came here with nothing, built, you know, their lives, and they raised me the best that they could, and I fucking hated it at the time. I was lucky that I had them as parents, because they had me under house arrest. I wasn't like in the gang that was like in my neighborhood, you know, like I wasn't messing around with all the little cholos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm lucky I had them as parents. Yeah, and they made me earn or work for, I guess earn everything I got. Yeah.
That's one thing I admired about you, that you did everything on your own. And I was like,
Thanks.
that's pretty dope.
Thanks. I mean, yeah. I've learned a lot. Wow. So what would you say to someone that wants to move out right now?
I would say before you do anything in life, I think it's important to have a plan.
Yes, I agree.
So before you want to buy a car, before you want to move out, before you want to start a business, I think before you say yes to anything, you want to have clear oversight of what's going on. So how much money are you making? Can you cover the expenses? How far away is that from your work? How often are you going to see your parents? You know, just like mapping out your whole life, and don't do it in a rushed way. Like take some time, think about it, spend a month or 2 or 3 and figuring all the ins and outs as much as you can, and figure out the plan, because you have your whole life ahead of you to move out. And then if everything seems like a sound plan, now you go do it.
And you execute it.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't think like people should rush it, but I do think it's a very, very positive experience. And I think like moving out, like dorming for school, is one of the best, because
Yeah.
it's almost like a transition. You're not fully out because you don't have to worry about food. You know, if you go to the cafeteria, there's going to be food there.
Yeah.
And then you get to be with a bunch of people that are moving out for the first time. So there's like a support system. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think so too, because it teaches you a lot of life skills in a very safe and controlled way.
Yeah. And you meet all
I was
kinds
about
of people.
to say that.
Like,
Yeah, and you're exposed to so
like
many different...
motherfuckers are way dirtier than you, or you find out you're the dirty motherfucker. Like
Yeah.
you learn so many things.
Yeah, and then you're forced to cohabitate with people you probably would never do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's such a good tip. And I do recommend everyone live on their own. I know it's not for everyone, but I think like you're saying, you like the power of choice. So you like to expose yourself to things that you don't necessarily like, so that you know for a fact you don't like it, and now you have the choice to go, yeah, I don't like that. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to go to what I like.
But I've done it, so I choose not to do it.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, moving out isn't for everyone, but I do recommend it for everyone. I know some religions, or some like ethnic backgrounds don't allow that, and I feel like that's cool too. And if that works for you, then I say stick to that, but like for me, it didn't work for me, because it was my tradition not to, like my family's tradition not to move out like that. But I wasn't going to be true to myself, and it may have been selfish of me to do that. But look at me now, like I'm able to help and give back to my parents and help my family and stuff, because I made these decisions.
Yeah.
But like for someone like my sister or whatever, like they liked it that way. Someone like my mom, she liked it that way.
Yeah.
But
it actually makes me feel really good that I'm able to give my mom allowance every month because of how much she helped me launch my career.
Hell yeah.
Whether she like, not in an emotional way, we all know that, but in like but in a financial way, and then I guess in like a money management type of way, all the moves that she's been able to make where, I got a really good head start in business. Like it makes me feel really good. I get to like pay for her all her trips and pay for her to go away from me.
You're fucking horrible.
No,
Anyway, well, I hope you guys learned a little something. And if you didn't, I hope you just got a kick out of listening to how we did it. Not that it was right, but this is what we did.
Our first time. Yeah.
Don't know if it worked or if it didn't, but I mean, I didn't have any traumatic experiences from it. It was all pretty good for me. And I hope you learned a little bit something.
Shout outs to our sponsor, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. It's an online learning community, and they have all kinds of classes. Go to Skillshare.com/Beaw, BEAW, and get 2 months free trial.
Yeah, do
and
that.
Learn your stuff.
Yes. Thank you for believing in our podcast. And thank you guys, the listeners, for listening to our podcast. Please let us know if there's anything that we should be talking about or anything that you're curious about. Leave it in the comments or send me a DM. And yeah, we'll hopefully talk about it. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.